Good morning, space innovators. How was the weekend so far? You still have energy for the last day? Good, because we have coffee for you. Let's see what's going to happen today. Today is the last day, the day when magic happens. This is the day where all the efforts that you did throughout the weekend are going to come together in an awesome presentation, and you're going to impress the judges. Even though it may not feel like it right now, but you'll see, by the afternoon, things are going to clear up. So, I think we jumped over a few slides. Yes. So, Sunday, team check-in, happening now. You're going to start to do the final tests on your prototypes, on your assumption. You're going to hopefully be developing the business model so that you know to actually make money with your project. And you're also start working on your presentation. So at this point, you should allocate tasks in the team. And probably there should be like 1 or 2 people working on the presentation, 1 or 2 people working on the rest of the stuff, and the other people working on the business part or testing it out. Then, very important, if you plan to do your presentation from your laptop, which is not recommendable, but you can still do it, you should be here and talk to the main tech dude who's right over here. He will help you. So make sure that you're here with your laptop at 2 o'clock. The tech check is going to happen between 2 and 3 o'clock. Also, 2:05. Okay, and if you're going to have the presentations ready and deliver them to him, talk to him, bring him the presentation via email or via USB stick so that he can put the presentation on this laptop and you're going to have it prepared for when it's your turn to be on stage. This is much easier. You don't have to connect your laptop, and the chances of it working are much higher if you have it here. This is the final presentation part, the logistics around that. At 4 o'clock, we would need you to clear the rooms upstairs, and you should come downstairs because we need to start cleaning and preparing the rooms that you've been using for the weekend. And we're going to start with the final presentations at 4:30. But at 4 o'clock, you should start packing and slowly come downstairs. Also, let's see the prizes. Last I told you about a few prizes that you could choose to win if you get in the top 3. But besides that, there's also the prizes that you don't get to choose, but you may win anyway. So the first prize is travel to a space or startup event of your choice and the company branding package. The second prize is a Mechanoid XL 2.0 and book bundle. And the third prize is Mecha Spider and 1-year subscription to venture capital. And if you win, you also will get the one of the prizes or 2 of the prizes that you've been choosing last evening. If you did not do so, please reach out to Sebastian. He's right there. And he will give you the piece of paper with your team number, and you can still choose the prizes that you may win. These are the other prizes that you need to choose from, and you just write 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 being the most preferred prize that you'd like to win. Let's go back to judging criteria. So what should you have in your presentation? You should be focused on the validation part, execution and design, and business model. So for validation, did you go out and talk to real customers? Are you solving a real problem? And what is your target market? You need to be very clear about this. If you weren't clear enough, it means that you did not properly do your research. Execution and design. Do you have an MVP or a prototype? Now, with all the resources that the organizers got for you there in the back, you literally have 0 excuses for not showing an MVP or a prototype. So I'm really looking forward to some really cool stuff from you guys. Then, how is your technical demo or feasible? And then, design matters. As I told you yesterday, we have a graphic designer and a web designer here. If you did not talk to them by now, this is the time to do it. Business model. How do you make this a successful business? As I said before, even if you see this as a social enterprise, you still need revenue. You still need to pay your employees, your rent, and all your other costs. So you need a way to make money. And how are you solving the problem? What's your value proposition? Remember the business model canvas? That was the first thing that you were supposed to start with your value proposition. And how unique is your idea? Because depending on the uniqueness of your idea, you can either present something like totally innovative, or if you have competitors, if it's not truly unique, that's still okay. It may still be very good business, but you need to know your competitors and you need to explain why you are better, why customers should choose you, not them. And I think we can switch the presentations now to the pitch training one. So, how many of you did pitch presentations at startup events? All right, a few. So I prepared a few slides with some ideas on what you should have in your presentation later today. It's going to be basically a focus on a few topics that you need to discuss, and you're going to have the 5 minutes to do it. We're going to be, again, very strict with the timing. So we're going to have like a countdown with 5 minutes, and we'll have to stop you if you go over. The rule is the same. We need to give everyone the same chances. Afterwards, you're going to have the questions from the jury, but we're going to a bit over that during this presentation. So there are 10 things that you should keep in mind when you prepare a presentation for an early stage startup event, such as this one. First one should be like a cover or a one-liner, like your mission. The way you start your presentation, basically, you should frame the discussion. Like, people sitting in the audience should see that first slide, and they should know what the next 5 minutes are going to be about. Kind of like that. When you see that, you know what's going to happen for the next 5 minutes. They will go bankrupt. No, just kidding. But you need to understand that you need to precondition the brains of your audience so that with the one-liner that you start, they are going to know what the whole discussion is going to be. Then, the most important part is stating the problem. And the better job that you did at understanding the root cause of the problem, the easier it's going to be for you to explain it. And then you need to show if it's like a nice to have, or is it a real pain that you're solving? Is it like a mosquito bite or a shark bite? But please make sure that you do understand if it's a nice to have problem or a pain, because based on that, you need to structure the rest of your presentation. Then you're going to have to describe your very clever, awesome solution. Of course, it's an early-stage startup, so no one will expect that you actually land on the moon by Thursday. But still, you should explain your solution to the best of your capabilities and use the prototyping area that we have so that you can showcase this to the jury. Then, market. You should not aim at this stage for like 3-year business plans. Because if you do that, everyone knows that is bullshit. You can't possibly have a 3-year business plan with 0 revenue right now. You can't even have a 3 days business plan at this point. But what you can do instead is assess the market opportunity. How big is the market? And eventually, if we do get to build the product with like 1% of the market in like first year and then 3% and then 5%, how big is this opportunity? Because if best case scenario, your best opportunity is like 10 million euro per year, and you're going to spend more than that, that may not be an interesting market. So this is an exercise that you have to do in order to explain the potential of your business. And then what's the business model? When the judges will ask, so how do you make money? It's funny to see that after 3 days, a lot of the teams at several startup events are like, we don't really know. You should have a business model, even if it's not truly validated yet, but you should know, like, do we do a one-time sale or a subscription? Are we a business to consumer or are we a business to business? Like, how do you plan on making the money? And ideally, validated that potential customers would actually engage in this type of business model. And then, as I said, competitors. Usually people in judging panels are quite experienced in the area that you're trying to innovate in. So they know and they've read about a bunch of initiatives, startups, and innovation projects. If they know about your area and you don't, that means you did not do your job in research. And that looks bad. If they know about competitors that are doing something very similar and you don't, this is not going to turn out well when the decision of the jury will come. So make sure that you understand who your competitors are, and trust me, you all have competitors, and then understand how you can beat them, why you are better, why your customer should choose you instead of them. Then, go-to-market strategy. A lot of early stage startup founders are very eager to talk about how their product will go viral. Everyone's product goes viral, but in reality, almost none of them does. Because viral either takes a lot of money or an insane amount of luck. And everyone is very good at telling how they get from like 1 million users to 2 million users to 5 million users. But it tells me how they're going to get from 0 to 1 to 10 to 100. So in your go-to-market strategy, you need to explain how you will acquire your first customers, the very first ones. You don't need to explain what's going to happen when you're going to be tremendously successful, but you need to explain how you will start. Then validation. Basically, you started on Friday with a series of assumptions. That there should be this problem, and I think that this solution would be the right one for it. Now is the time to actually show some validation. Now is the time to show that, yes, indeed, you have validated that this is an existing problem, that people are willing to pay money for it, and then presented with more options, it seems that your solution is the one that's going to be chosen. And you need some sort of validation for that. Either you talked to people, or you have some prototypes, or you build a landing page and people subscribe to whatever service you plan to offer. There's plenty of ways to show that you have some early stage traction or validation. Then, team. This is very important because there's a lot of very bright and interesting ideas, but those people cannot possibly build them because they just lack the knowledge, the domain expertise. So they either have the money to hire people that know how to do that, or they have those skills within the team. So when you talk about that, present your team and say, hey, I'm a PhD in X, and my project is coincidentally in X. So yes, I know how to build this, and together with my colleagues that have expertise in Y and Z, we can bring this product to the market. So the team skills, especially in niche areas such as these ones, are quite important. And you need to showcase that you have those skills in your team. If you don't, you need to have a plan to show to the jury how you're going to recruit those skills so that you can actually deliver the product. Then, your clever product demo. It can be anything. It can be pen and paper. It can be the 3D printed model. It can be a video simulation. It can be like a landing page. It can be whatever you think would convey the idea of what you're trying to do to the jury. Like we've seen yesterday with a 300 euro video, how easy, much easier it is to explain what you're trying to do. So use the storytelling, and with the power of storytelling and some whatever prototype you've built, try and present a demo in front of the judges. Now this should be, it doesn't have to be these 10, it can be other things, it can be not all of those that I just presented, but you should keep in mind that these 10 elements are very helpful to have on the slides when you're trying to explain your early stage startup idea to a jury. Very important, your body language and eye contact. If you're for the first time on stage, you will tend to do something like this because you're nervous, you're stressed, what am I going to say? I'm not going to remember anything, you don't know where to look, and then your legs are going to have a life of their own. So the best thing to do, like you're not a TEDx speaker, you're not going to dance around the stage, you just stay here and like be a tree. Don't move. Your legs should not move. But then you need to have and engage in eye contact with the jury members. There's going to be an audience, but the jury is going to vote. So then you do this eye contact and you switch eye contact from jury member to jury member. And remember that this is your awesome, super cool idea and you're excited. if you're going to present it like this and you're not very sure about it, then people are not going to be happy about your enthusiasm. So you need to be engaging. You need to kind of live and let everyone feel the energy of what you're trying to talk. And as I told you yesterday, this magic instrument doesn't work if it's used like this. So you need to make sure that this hand stays here and you use the explanation this other one. All right? Okay. This is the body language part. I know that some of you may have a very good impression about their behind, but reading from the slides is not a very good practice. The jury will not be into looking at your behind, right? And they also know how to read, so you don't need to read it for them. We've tested them, all the jury members know how to read. So just make sure that if you want to, you will have your slides here, and you will have them here as well. So if you want to check it, just quickly turn around, explain, and then move on. Don't just start reading from there. Then, wow moment. In all your presentation, you may have some wow factor. It may be that you have some early stage validation, or like a sign that you may sign a contract with like a big player, or your prototype might be amazing. So make sure that you prepare that wow moment. You have some sort of like crescendo, so that when you get there, you get, so we did this. And then everyone in the audience will be like, hey, wow. And that's how they will remember your project instead of the others. So try to see where's your strength, and then build up momentum, and then you deliver the wow moment. If you did not do presentation before, there's one very important thing that you need to do, to practice over and over again. So start by writing the text that you want to say and write it down. Make sure it fits into the 5 minutes, and then you split it into paragraphs. And for every paragraph you want to say, then you go and find a visual to support it. Your visual ideally should not have more than 10 words. It's meant to support what you as a presenter are trying to say. The attention should be on you, not on there. You know those corporate PowerPoint slides, like death by PowerPoint? Don't do that. See how everything that I wanted to say was expressed by a picture and a short title? And it worked. I still got your attention. I still got your, interesting. And then your attention switched back. And I managed to deliver the message that I wanted to deliver at every paragraph, at every slide. Aim for that. Because if you put like very complicated stuff, although we tested the members for reading, they can't read a lot of text here and still listen to you here. No one will be able to do that. So if you're putting a lot of text, you can count on the fact that no one will listen to you. So why would you purposefully do that? Then, as I said, look for what you want to say at every paragraph, and then have a slide that represents that. And then practice over and over again until you're sure that it fits into the 5 minutes. The more you practice, the calmer you will be on stage, because you're relaxed, that you know all the text that you want to say, and you don't have to be stressed about it. Now, it can be that you're very good at memorizing, and you just say the text that you remembered, but ideally, you should keep in mind the main ideas that you want to talk about, so that if you forget some of the words, you don't go, oh, what am I supposed to say here? All right? So just be chilled, relaxed about it. This is a safe environment. Everyone here is the process of learning, even though it's going to be live streamed. But everyone, a bit of stress there, a bit of stress. But as you've seen throughout the weekend, everyone here is the process of learning, and everyone here is here to help you. Then, the Q&A session at the end. As I said, you have 5 minutes for the presentation and 3 minutes for questions from the jury. In 3 minutes, we're going to ask the judges to be very brief with their questions, but then you also need to be very brief with your answers. The quicker that you answer, the more chances you give to the jury to ask more questions and clarify their ideas about you. If you don't know the answer to the question, don't lie. Don't bullshit. You just say, I don't know that, we haven't that, let me just get back to you after the presentation. Or if you did the marketing part and you get like a business question or a technical question, you just say, I will ask my technical colleague to step on the stage and answer this one to you, because that's not what I focused on during this weekend. So don't be shy about inviting the other colleague in your team that was focused on that particular subject. But make sure you don't use all the 3 minutes with the answer to one question, because the other judges might have questions for you as well. Questions? So ideally, up to the final point, it should be the presenter. As I said, if you want more people to talk, that's called theater. And chances are you're not very good actors. So there should be one person presenting, and the rest of the team may either come on stage at the last slide, if your last slide is the one with the team, or they may join the stage for the Q&A session where the judges might ask a variety of questions. So it's up to you how you structure your presentation and the order of your slides. All this information is also on my slide share. There's also a YouTube video with the same things I said here. So if you want to go back to any of them, just look for the speech training presentation on YouTube, and you can refresh your ideas. Don't forget, 2 o'clock. Make sure that you have your presentations ready. You talk to our technical team here, and they will help you either set up your laptop or prepare the presentation. Thank you all. See you later in the afternoon.